The average person spends 5 hours a day looking down at their mobile phone. That's 16 years out of an 80-year lifespan. Just over a year ago now, I realised I was spending 8 hours a day looking down at mine, and I've managed to reduce that down to 2 hours. In this video, I'm going to teach you how you can reduce your screen time in 30 days or less. First things first, I want you to download Opal. This is not sponsored by Opal, I'm just a big fan of this app. There are alternatives out there, you can use them if you want to. All I want you to do is download Opal, give it the permissions that it needs, and that's it. Just keep it on your phone, we're going to come back to it later. Step 2 is start to pay attention. This is the most passive way to stop using your screen time as much, but become aware of how much you use your phone. Just start paying attention. Start paying attention to how many times you pick it up. Start paying attention to when you instinctively reach for it. Start paying attention to when you feel like you're missing something because it's not in your pocket. Start paying attention to what you're doing when you pick it up. How often is the thing productive or beneficial to your day? And how often is it distracting? As part of this, I want you to put the screen time widget on your home screen. Front and center, I want it to be the first thing you see when you unlock your phone, because this will really start to help you pay attention to how much you're using your phone. And this was the first thing I did when I realized I wanted to reduce my screen time. Every time I looked at the day before and realized I'd spent 8-9 hours on my phone, I was horrified. So I put the screen time widget on my home screen, so throughout each day, I would be nudged by, oh, you've used your phone for 7 hours today. That in itself starts to make a subconscious difference. Now remember that app we downloaded, Opal? We're going to start reviewing that. Opal will display distracting apps versus productive apps, and it will tell you how much time you spend on each specific app. The built-in screen time of an iPhone does do this to an extent, but I just find Opal's interface really helpful. I want you to get in the habit of reviewing that daily and pay attention to what apps you're using the most and how long for. When I started doing this, I realized I was using TikTok for 2 to 3 hours a day, which when I say that out loud now, that makes me feel ill. So I want you to start paying attention to where you're spending your time and what you're doing on your device. The goal here is to cultivate conscious consumption, not unconscious consumption. To me, unconscious consumption is when you instinctively pull your phone out and just start scrolling. And all of a sudden half an hour's gone past and you're like, wait, what was I doing? That's unconscious consumption. Consciously be aware when you open up Instagram, when you open up TikTok, when you open up YouTube. Be aware of, okay, I'm going to have a little scroll, 5 minutes, yeah, all right, done. Conscious consumption, not unconscious consumption. Try saying that 5 times fast. This stage, 1 to 2 weeks. I'm not in any way suggesting that we make some radical jump right now to cutting down your screen time. Just consciously become aware of how much you're using it. This will have more of a mental effect on you than you realise. You'll start to look at your screen time and almost be repulsed if it's up too high. Do a digital life review. I've got a template for this in the description below. I actually got put onto this idea from this book here, Digital Minimalism. And if you're interested in this topic, if you've got this far in this video, you probably are, I'd recommend giving this a read because it's very interesting. This is where we're going to sit down and we're going to review all the ways in which we use technology, all the apps, all the websites, everything like that you're spending time on each day. And in this review, we're going to review the device you're doing this on, the type of application it is, whether this is critical or a nice to have for your life, the effect it has on your life, and any other notes. And then once you've done this, you're then going to decide which ones you're going to delete. I've made a downloadable template for this, completely free. It's in the description below to help you guys. Just literally all you got to do is you got to download it, go in and fill it out. Just fill out all the apps that you use, everything that you use. And my general rule of thumb, if it's rated as a nice to have and its effect is distracting, delete it from your phone. Any apps that fall into that category are highly unlikely to be things that you need on your phone. Detaching from your phone. Now the goal of this step is to get used to not having a phone with you at all times and to break the habit of picking it up at every opportunity. So I want you to get used to having periods of time without your phone. I think a lot of people will be surprised at how hard this is to do at first. So even just starting with an hour a day would be enough, but I would try and push yourself, see how long you can go, because you'll be surprised. The easiest time to do this is when you're deep in work. If you've got to focus in for the next couple of hours and really get some work done, this is the best time to do it. Because you're distracted, you need to get some work done, but it helps subconsciously break the habit of just constantly having it there and constantly reaching for it. If you're working from home, put your phone in another room. If that's too hard to start with, put it on the other side of the room. I would just get it out of sight. If I'm working at this desk, I'd want it behind me over there somewhere. Just don't have it within sight. During this period, turn off all sound notifications and vibrations. You don't want any reminder that it exists. If you're at work, if you're in an office and you can't leave it in another room or leave it too far away, silence it completely, vibrations included, and leave it in your bag. If you're going for a walk at lunchtime, you're walking to the office or something like that, try having it in your bag instead of your pocket, as long as it's safe to do so. Get out of the habit of having it in your pocket, attached to your body, like you can feel it on you at all times. Think about where you keep your phone throughout the day. 90% of the time you can feel it. It's in your pocket, it's in your hand, it's somewhere on your person. Even just putting it in your bag will have an effect. And try and increase these periods of just detaching from it and not having it near you. You can Google stuff on your laptop. You don't need to be scrolling social media all the time. You can put WhatsApp on your laptop if that helps you, if you're in constant communication with people. It's highly unlikely that you need it on you at all times. Now we're going to come back to Opal. Key feature of Opal, and it's actually the reason that I downloaded it in the first place, is I decided I wanted to take the step of blocking social media. Not all the time, don't get me wrong, but initially my blocking period that I set up on Opal was 9 AM to 5 PM every workday. From 9 to 5, Opal blocked all social media from use. Now, Opal does have a feature that you can set the difficulty of the session. Mine was on the easiest, so I could go in, wait 20 seconds and unblock it. So if I fancied a little scroll, I could do that. And I'd recommend you ease yourself into Opal doing that. Mine is now set to the hardest setting in the evening, so it actually comes on at 10 PM, and 10 PM till 2 AM, it's on the hardest. I can't unblock it. The only way I can get into social media is deleting the app. I can't, deleting Opal. I cannot get into anything. 2 AM through to 6 PM the next day, it's on the medium, so it takes about a minute. I have to sit there for about a minute and wait for the countdown before I can unlock it and then get into social media. That is more than enough time to go, I don't actually care enough to scroll for 5 minutes by sitting here and waiting for a minute. Close it, move on. Over the last year and a bit of using Opal, mine's escalated from weekdays only, 9 to 5, to every day of the week. 10 PM it gets blocked in the evening because I'm really trying to get in the habit of just not using tech before bed, all the way through to the end of the working day. I don't need social media there. I can do anything that I need to do for my own content. I can schedule it on my laptop. I don't need to be distracted by it. So start blocking apps, and if it helps you, just block them for shorter periods of time. Maybe you only have them blocked for the morning so you can get to work, you can lock in, and then it's free roam for the rest of the day. Whatever works for you, starting small and doing something is better than doing nothing at all. And the final step is to use the built-in screen time to limit the amount of time you can spend on an app per day. Using myself as an example again, I can only use Instagram for 30 minutes a day before I get the screen time pop-up saying you've used up your time limit, or whatever it says. Never even actually paid that much attention to it. 30 minutes total in a day before that comes up. I do wish it was a bit stricter, but it's something. It's a prompt to say, hey, you've been using it for an hour today. Whatever your timing is, get off of it. I lied, that wasn't the final step. The final step is, now that you've had Opal installed for a month, we're gonna come back and we're gonna use it one more time. At the top of the screen, you're gonna hit on where it says today. It's gonna give you a calendar. And we need to pick 5 random days from the last month of having Opal installed and see what your screen time was in those days. See which apps you use the most. See which ones were distracting, which ones were productive. And just be aware. Conscious consumption. With that in mind, is that how you want your screen time to look? Did you click on a random date that was last week? You spent 5 hours scrolling through TikTok? Is that how you want it to look? If you're this far through this video, it's probably not. That's the final step. 1% better every day. That's all we want. If you can get your screen time down by 1 minute every day consistently, that's amazing. You will have saved yourself hours by the end of the year. And those hours equate to years of your life no longer looking down at your phone. Before I started this journey, I was scheduled to spend 20-something years looking down at a phone screen. I've now whittled that down to single digits. And I'm so proud of myself for doing it. Because I don't think anyone takes the addiction to these things seriously. The fact that you can be addicted without even knowing it to just picking it up and looking and scrolling at something and looking for that dopamine hit. But anything that can give you a bit of dopamine in your brain is an addictive thing. And these things are more addictive than anyone realizes. So take it seriously. And if you've got this far through the video, thank you. I wish you all the best on your digital detoxing journey. Peace.